Welcome to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast with Jacob Ayers, providing actionable content to help you along your journey to financial freedom through real estate investing. As the premier asset class, real estate has helped ordinary people just like you amass fortunes. The benefits of passive income from real estate investing will allow you to live a life you want. And now your host, entrepreneur, real estate investor, and apartment deal syndicator, Jacob Ayers.
Hi, and welcome to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast, episode 351. Hey, welcome back. I'm your host, Jacob Ayers. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's Friday Fundamental. Hey, happy Friday to you. I hope your week is wrapping up well and headed into an awesome weekend. Well, this week's Friday Fundamental is qualifying a deal. There is a lot of real estate, like a whole lot. Practically everything you see is either real estate itself or is on or in real estate. If you're driving down the road, running in a park, or cleaning your garage as you've listened to this podcast, chances are you are surrounded by real estate. Now, when you start to see everything as real estate, you then start to look at that real estate from an investment perspective. Now, there are a lot of ways to invest in real estate, as shown with the many different guests we've had here on the podcast. From buy and hold single-family investing, to house hacking small multifamily, to apartment syndication. There are many, many different niches and investment strategies. So starting out, most people are successful by being as narrow-focused as possible, meaning they select one real estate niche and focus solely on it. If you don't focus on one niche, you'll find yourself looking at raw land in South Texas, condos in San Diego, and new development multifamily in Virginia. Which brings us to the next point, your market. Just as it's important to narrow down your niche, it's also equally, if not more important, to narrow down your few markets. These two criteria, niche and market, will help you develop an investing strategy. So by now, you've committed considerable time and resources into your own education. Now it's time to start finding some deals. Let's look at how you can qualify a deal in 3 steps. Step 1 is setting your investment criteria. Now that you have a niche and a market, you can begin to develop your investment criteria even further. Let's take multifamily apartments in Texas and Oklahoma, for example. This is our niche and our markets. However, this is still relatively broad and can be defined even more. We can consider things like the size of the property, the type of the property, markets and submarkets, property age, how we find and buy the deal, whether that's direct to owner or through brokers, and more specifically, and maybe even more importantly than all the others, our returns we're expecting. Once these criteria are defined, we now have a specific set of criteria we can filter all of our deals through in the future. If the property doesn't fit these criteria, then think long and hard about pursuing it. Just because something looks like a deal doesn't mean it's a deal for you. Step 2 is underwrite the deal. Once you have a deal that fits your investment criteria, it's time to analyze the numbers further. This process is called underwriting, and it's an iterative process. You'll look at the property's past performance, project its future performance, and model out your business plan. During your underwriting, you'll be making assumptions and modeling different scenarios. Having some sort of underwriting tool is an absolute must. Most people use either Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets spreadsheets Now, you can build your own or find one from somebody who has already built one. Either way, an underwriting tool is a must and able to effectively and efficiently underwrite deals. And step 3 is due diligence. Due diligence is the process of confirming all the details of the deal, from your underwriting assumptions to property inspections and anything specific to the deal you are qualifying. During due diligence, you'll dive into all the minute details of the deal, making sure one last time that you understand everything there is to know about that deal. You'll confirm things like rent comparisons, sales comparisons, renovation scopes of work, property inspections, lease audits, expense details, quotes from vendors and contractors, and much, much more. So those are the 3 steps for qualifying a deal. 1, set investment criteria. 2, underwrite the deal. And 3, do due diligence. So from those early days and all that investment into yourself to the final phases of your due diligence on your investment deal, you have gone from 0 to 1 as a real estate investor. Congrats! Crossing the finish line and closing the deal is a huge milestone. It's the end of one chapter and the start of the next one. Do this repeatedly and consistently, and you'll be well on your way to building wealth and achieving financial freedom. This is a journey, so enjoy the process. It won't happen overnight, and it will take a lot of work and effort. But remember, if it were easy, then everyone would do it, and the rewards would not be as quite as sweet. So I hope this sets you along your way to closing your very first deal or closing your very next deal and the next one and the next one. And with that, that wraps up this week's Friday Fundamental. Hey, I hope you're getting so much value from this podcast. Thanks for tuning in and week out. I really appreciate your support. We have some great guests lined up in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for those. As always, for more information, resources, and to connect with me, you can do so at www.jacobayers.com. Until next week, engineer the lifestyle you want.
You've been listening to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast, providing you actionable content to build your real estate empire. Nothing on this show should be considered specific, personal, or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, financial, or business professional for personal advice. The opinions of guests are their own. Information is not guaranteed. All investment strategies have a potential for profit or loss. The host is operating on behalf of the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom, LLC, exclusively.